Welcome, all of you Sunset people and everybody else watching from the PBO. It is Sunset Power Rankings time, heading into week 5, and I'm here with Don.
What's up?
And the other person is myself. Yes, that's right. The commissioner is getting his chance to speak on the big stage. But Don, tell us your philosophy and how you're ranking these teams and how I can help today.
Okay, so far this season, the way I've been ranking these teams is first I start by looking at the records of each of the teams. Obviously, it's a really important statistic. So basically, with the record, I basically just make sure that no one with a better record is under someone with a worse record. So basically, if you're 2-2, you can never be above someone that's 3-1 power rankings, and vice versa. But within those rankings, like if there are two people that are 3-1. I start looking at the opponents that they played. If they played strong opponents, if they lost to the strong opponents, if they beat good opponents, and also if the people they beat aren't as strong, things like that. If someone's beaten more strong opponents, then they're probably going to be higher on the list, and if someone's lost to weaker opponents, they'll be lower on the list, and all the other variations you can think of.
Ready for number 14?
Absolutely.
Send us in. Who we got?
All right, our number 14 team is our only 0-4 team in Sunset right now, the Clonbrook Kyogres. Now, the thing about Clonbrook's team, I think, okay, for these power rankings, we're at the point in the season where you've all heard what we think about the teams. I'm going to mostly just be talking about the games that have been going on. With that being said, the last 2 weeks, Clonbrook played the Mew World Order and the Toronto Staraptors. Now, the Toronto Staraptors is a pretty high now. They're one of the 4 right now, but the Mew World Order going into that game, I believe, was either 0-2 or 1-1.
And 1-1, I believe.
Yeah. And Clonbrook lost that game pretty badly, or not. It was 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, the way I see it right now, Clonbrook made it through the first half of his schedule going 0-4, and in my opinion, that was the easy half of the schedule. I hate to be negative about the prospects of someone the rest of the season, but I just don't see how Clonbrook is really going to be clawing back much ground against these really strong opponents. The Philadelphia PZs, subbing in for Sydney, have proven to be a really strong player. Like their play is just on point. I think they've won both of their games so far. Birmingham Buizels, after making some team changes, hasn't dropped a game. Blasphemous, we knew was really strong going into this, and then there's me. Yeah. Talk about it a little later, I guess. But basically, all these are all playoff teams. Like the 4 that Clonbrook is going against, they're all either playoffs or like high playoffs. So I just think Clonbrook's really going to struggle these last 4 weeks. I hate to be negative about it, but I think maybe 1 win if you're lucky. What do you think, Soren?
Okay, so as most of you may know, I don't know Mons that well, but what I can tell is what I see and watch one of these games. And to go off what Don said, the teams you faced so far, Scarborough, New York, Mew World Order, Toronto teams, again, probably most of them, 3 out of 4 of them probably playoff teams. Now the rest of these 4 also playoff teams, and I would say tougher than that top half perhaps. So we'll see how you fare, but Clonbrook, this is your second season in Sunset, and as you know, the Sunset Thunderdome is super tough to get by, and unfortunately someone has to lose these games, but I'm hopeful you can win at least one. And we look at your KD leaders, I mean, your kill leader is tied between Darkrai and Cinderace, so that's good. Venusaur is there, but unfortunately, out of 2 Sun teams, one has to do really bad in Clonbrook. Maybe you can escape relegation, but we will find out 4 weeks from now. And that's what I got.
All right, we're going to move on to our number 13 team then, being the Cherry Hill Bellsprouts. Now, this is one of our 2 1-3 teams, and between those 2 teams, this one kind of had to be under the other one, because the other one we'll talk about in the Scizors, and Cherry Hill lost to the Pittsburgh Scizors, so we can't really put Cherry Hill above Pittsburgh. But if we look at the teams that Cherry Hill has lost to, besides Pittsburgh, they're both really highly placed teams. So I definitely think that this team absolutely stands a chance at clawing back some space. He's gone through most of the hard parts of his schedule already, and even though this is only supposed to be covering weeks 3 and 4, he has already played his week 5 game against me, and spoiler alert, he won. For reasons we'll talk about a bit more. But with that being said, like, Cherry Hill's kind of through the toughest parts of his schedule. He's got Toronto, still a highly placed team, don't get me wrong, but I think in terms of play, some of the other teams he's played before are a bit stronger. Even the ones that he won against, like, I think even Birmingham is a really strong player, even though Birmingham lost to Cherry Hill.
Yeah.
And essentially, like, the rest of the teams, it's all like, they're not gimmies, they're not free wins, right? But it definitely feels like even ground. So Cherry Hill absolutely has a chance in all of these last games. And so I think Cherry Hill, even though it's 1-3 right now, this is still like playoff chances. Like, I don't think this, I think from this point forward, no team is playoffs, and Cherry Hill still chance in playoffs. The team is good. He's been learning how to pilot it better. I do still think Non-Terra Wochen is kind of useless. Volcarona kind of bad. But I can tell you, as someone that was prepping against this team feels really weak to like set up stuff, and then there's a Ditto and makes you want to rip your hair out. Double Grounds is always fun between Landorus and Tusk. Double Waters is usually fun, but not when both of them can only click Hydro Pump. But yeah, overall, I think the team, I think like it's now getting over the hump is what I'm trying to say. Like, now it's going to be smooth sailing for the most part. What do you think, Soren?
Yeah, so as spoiler, they did just beat Don, so that's a pretty big win. 2-3 now. Congrats. And now it's Toronto, New York, and Mew. I think there's a pretty good chance Cherry Hill could play at his own pace, which is kind of a slower pace. This team looks a bit more offensive at the face, but you got Wochien, Terra Heatran, which is fucking great, by the way. Rotom Wash, a PBO great. Yeah, so these last 3 teams, I think Cherry Hill could easily beat, but it's a matter of differential, and as Sunset goes on, differential really matters, as you'll see with these teams in the future, how close these teams are. When we get to the playoff teams and like the top 8, every game will matter. Every diff will matter. So, and I also don't know how Espeon is your kill leader, but I guess it's a Terra Captain for a reason. Maybe you can put that on to someone else. Crazy as that sounds, as a guy who doesn't play Mons. But from what I see, I want to see Landorus get a kill. Where's Lando? He's non-existent. Did he just get Lando? Is that why? No, you've had Lando. I want to see Lando get kills. That's what I want to see. And also, losing to Bandit Aloe, you know what? I can't blame you for that either. I can't, you know what I mean? Who would have thought it was coming?
I do just want to say this one more thing. This team, Cherry Hill has beaten me. Like, it doesn't show it on the schedule, but I want to be very clear. These power rankings are only weeks 3 and 4, and so the victory that Cherry Hill got against me it'll show up on the dock for the week 5 and 6 power rankings, but it won't affect the power rankings until those next set of power rankings. So while Cherry Hill may be down here for now, in the next one, Cherry Hill will be most likely moving up. Like, it's almost certain.
Yeah.
Right.
As we see where you are, we will find out how much he goes up in the coming weeks. But on to number 12.
Yeah, under number 12 team, we talked about it a little bit before, the Pittsburgh Scizors. This is our last team that's 1-3, and this is our second of 3 weathered teams in Sunset this season. It beat Cherry Hill, like we talked about before, because I think Cherry Hill just really doesn't have a lot of great water responses. Like, both of your waters can get worn down. Both of your water types can get worn down pretty quickly, and Wochen can get basically any Urshifu coverage move. And so basically it's just a battle of attrition that Cherry Hill was, which means Pittsburgh was able to leverage that really well. For the rest of the schedule, though, Mew World Order, I think that's a pretty comparable matchup. I think they're pretty even teams. But then after that, the last 3 games are Tokyo, Birmingham, and Blasphemous, who I think, I said this before for all 3 of them, I think they're all playoff teams. Birmingham, I think, is a little bit lower on the leaderboards right now, but after the team change, he seems a lot more comfortable with the team, so I expect him to climb into that. That'll be a much more challenging game when Pittsburgh does get to that. But right now, we're just gonna have to see how Pittsburgh keeps using Rain, I guess. I'm not sure about Rain's matchups in these games.
Yeah,
It
I don't know.
wasn't. We did see Rain lose to Sun in 3, which is
Yep.
kind of unfortunate.
I did
Because
not think that would
honestly,
happen.
as a Rain team, you probably shouldn't be losing it. Sun team.
Probably. He did hit a hurricane
Like
down the sun.
it
That was
can
pretty
happen,
hot.
like we saw here.
Yeah.
Like it's not unheard of, you but you have a Terra or Shifu. Like honestly, that's not a matchup that you should be losing. But I guess past that, you don't have a whole lot to just muscle through things. So I guess it kind of makes sense, but I don't know. What do you think, Soren?
I really like going through these teams and kind of commenting on them because now I feel like I get a chance to explain myself for the ceilings and floors I did in the preseason. So this is the Rain team in Pittsburgh. You've been here since season 2. You know what you're doing. You haven't changed your team, but I think some inspiration could be had as we've seen Mad Mac do it with a Neon player. The Crown Points of Titans got inspiration from a Neon player, the Columbus Kyogres, for his team. So maybe, hear me out. I think there was a Terra Raikou game. I think in Gazer that stalled out. I think it was Lion City's Terra Raikou that stalled out. Mary with a sub, Calm Mind, whatever. Anyway, look at the Alabama Alakazam's Rain team, and maybe before week 6 hits, you make some transactions. Maybe change up this team a bit because you got Terra Raikou, you got the Ursula Rapid Strike that you want in the Rain. I really do like this team, but maybe Galvantula isn't needed. I haven't really. It's come one time in 4 games. I feel like if you're really trying to sell a Galvantula, you could probably swap that out. And I mean, the guys who are supposed to be getting kills are getting kills, and the ones who aren't. So otherwise, when we look ahead, Tokyo, Birmingham, Blacephalons, Mew World Order could probably win 2 of the next 4. Wishfully. So we'll keep a close eye on you, Pittsburgh. Keep a close eye. On to 11, though.
Our number 11 team is our first 2-2 team, the Scarborough Sceptiles, Geo. Now, the interesting thing about where we are now in the power rankings is that now that we're 2-2, we're at like the real meat where everything is really close. Like from here on out, these are teams that are going to be actively, like we are expecting to see some playoff contention in the later weeks between the teams. Like right now, Gio's 9th on the leaderboards. So if it were playoff time right now, he'd be battling for that 8th spot. But that being said, the reason he's the lowest on the leaderboards right now, or not leaderboards, in these power rankings of the 2-2s, is because of his wins. His first win was against Clonbrook, who is the lowest ranked person on both the leaderboards and the power rankings. And his other win, this might just be me being salty, but it's against me. But the way he won was because he got double Draco Meteor crit, like both of which mattered, and it basically just ruined the game from then on. And I still almost won. So in my opinion, I think his play has just kind of been not great. He did just make a bunch of transactions for his team. He dropped in a Crossmut and Amorous Bolt and Grafaiai and got Terra Quaquavel, Fezandipiti, Cobain, and Latios. Now, call me a hater all you want, but I think his play, I think him making all of these transactions is like a reflection of the fact that he hasn't been happy with his team either. Or like the way he's been playing with it. It wasn't clicking with him. Now, I think he's still 2-2, right? He's not out of things by any means. And if we look at his schedule going forward, I think he has 2 games that are going to be very, very difficult, being Syracuse and Philadelphia PZs. And then 2 games that I think are on pretty even footing between the New York Nickits and the Mew World Order. He could win, knowing Geo, he could win all of these. He could also lose them all. Like with Geo, it's really impossible to tell sometimes, but I don't think he'll lose all of them. Like let's put it like that. I think he could lose them all because it's Geo and you never know what to think, but realistically, I don't think he will. He is now the proud owner of Terra Quaquavel, which has been hyping up in every division all season. and I'm really excited to see it put in work because I also think Terra Quavel is really strong. But yeah, overall, I think Geo's season, he's like in a very neutral position right now. He could do very well, he could do not so well, but I don't think he's really at risk of demoting right in any way. I don't think so, no. What do you think about this team? Sorry.
All right. So, first of all, Geo, great double crit. I know that was planned. You did a great job. Yeah, skillful, truthfully speaking. You did a great job. But you did blow up the team. Now, questions along this. And post Neon Power Rankings, Mad Mac talked about summing up Monkey blowing up his team. So when looked at Geo blowing up his team, you know, until week 6, do what you want with your team. Doesn't matter. Once week 6 hits, after that, your team's logged. So you might as well do it now. And now for Gio, is this comfort? Is this a reflection of how much he hates his former team? I don't know. But what I do know is that Syracuse, New York, Mew World Order, and Philadelphia are his next 4. Syracuse would be a tough fight, as Gio and him usually have a pretty close one, if I do remember. We'll see how the Sun does against an opponent like Gio. And by that, I mean just unpredictable, really. When you think of Geo, you think of Raven. Think of Raven, you think of Geo. You never know what you're going to get. Mew World Order, I think it can go Geo's way, but I think if June has the prep, I think she can pull it off. Now, Philly, not quite the rumors that he's pretty good. We'll find out come week 8 if he's even making playoffs. You got Terra Quavel, you got Terra Lando, Masquerade's here for some webs. Lecky, you got the fast electric type. I just hope to see a lot more offensive pressure, and I hope to see some wins from you, Geo, because I can't see you missing playoffs. It's hard for me to see that. So we'll find out if it happens. On to number 10.
All right, our number 10 team is going to be the Mew World Order. And the last 2 weeks, she's kind of just been chilling. Her first, week 3, she beat Clonbrook, which again is a pretty ranked team. And she lost to the Philadelphia Porygon-Z, who's really just been a statement ever since he replaced Sydney. But with that being said, I think losing to Philadelphia isn't a bad thing at this point, and the other loss being to Boston means you're losing two highly ranked teams. One of them being top ranked, the other being would be top ranked if he had been here the whole season, imagine. So realistically, those losses aren't too terrible. Although I think part of them, I think we've said it before, part of them is just a team diff. If you look at Boston's team and then look at the version of June's team that we see right here, is it looks like they're using 2 different budgets. And so at that point, I understand Mew World Order did revamp the team. The changes aren't on the dock yet, and I don't know if they are. But since they weren't used in these last 2 weeks, we don't really care at this point, right? So realistically, we just got to look forward to the rest of the schedule. There's Pittsburgh, which I think she can definitely beat. Syracuse, which is going to be much more difficult. I think Syracuse's team is really scary because of Terra Cat that pose threats to this team. I think the hands could look really scary. I think he still has the... yeah, he does.
Mm-hmm.
The Terra hands could be really scary into a team like this. Rillaboom is really good into this team too. And so basically, Mew World Order is just going to have to find a way to outlast some of those super threats and find a way. Scarborough, it's kind of a coin flip, honestly. It's just gotta... Hey, we just talked about that one. And then Cherry Hill, it's definitely winnable. I think all of these games are winnable. I think Syracuse is the hardest one left on the schedule, in my opinion. And the other ones are all, I would flip a coin for the winner, honestly. I think they're all really close games. What do you think, Soaring?
Yeah. Look at the matchups, weeks 5 through 8, just to go off of it. Yeah, a lot of coin flips. Again, as you said, when you look at Boston's team and look back at June's team, this current June team, I should say, the Mew World Order team, 2 completely different budgets. Now, we'll see the transactions. Gambit's gone. Everybody cheers and claps for that. Hatterine's gone. Terrakilo's gone, which I'm surprised about. Furret's gone. The mascot pick's gone. Heracross, Swampert, Glamora, Gambit, Hatterene, all of them. Now, what you're getting in return is a Terra Orgerpon, a Gardevoir, a Alola Mutt, Gyarados, Weavile, Gastron, Registeel. See, that's pretty good. See, that's pretty good to have. I'm happy Gambit's gone. I was never a believer in Gambit. Heracross Swampert, I was excited to see what would happen, but they never really came to be, especially not Heracross, never came to a game. Ferret, mascot pick, you gotta run it, but we're replacing Hatterene with the Gardevoir, a little bit more offensive psychic carry piece. And, Dragapult, top 20 in the kills, doing his thing. Glamora, exciting. Skeledirge, tied at, 23. It's 4-4, you're using it. You're using Terra Dirge. I don't know what could be better. I guess Terra Orgerpon's pretty good. So, I expect to see a lot more offense from June in these last 4 weeks, especially just having to go for that playoff push when, as we've seen, what is this number that was the 10th ranked team, and it's tied 2-2 -3. So it's going to come down to diff. You've used up all the transactions, but you can still trade with other teams if need be. Just remember to do it before week 6, and we'll see what can happen. On to number 9, though, the Sun team.
Our number 9 team is our last weather team in Sunset. It's the New York Nickits. And now in week 3, he did a great thing with his team. I applaud him. He picked up the Don fan. Thank you. This team needed the better hazard control. The Ursaluna wasn't really doing that much. It was the only actual ghost resist because I'm not counting Chi-Yu. But also, the most relevant ghost in the format is gone anyways. We banned Spectrier. And B, he already played against the other most relevant ghost, being Dragapult. So he really doesn't need to worry about too many ghosts anymore, so it's kind of alright. I do think at this point, maybe find a way to get rid of Serena, because having Serena on this team does just scream, I needed hazard control, but now you have Donphan, so maybe try to find a chlorophyll type instead, even if it's something really stupid, like a 4-point victory bell or something. Anything I think would be better than the Serena slot right now. Right now it's going to be coming to games. That being said, the last few weeks, week 3 beat Pittsburgh, talked about that one a little bit already, and then lost to Boston Banettes. Again, a very highly ranked team with probably the strongest team, not even probably, just the strongest team in the but so that's a 1-0 loss to the strongest team composition in the division is honestly, be proud of that. That's not easy.
It's impressive.
I want to say one more thing about this. To all of the Terra Chi-Yu haters out there, it is fourth in the kill leader right now, and that's even considering that it has to share Terra with a guy like Walking Wind. So to all those that still say Terra Chi-Yu is a fraud, cry about it. The numbers don't lie. What do you think, Soren?
Terra Chi-Yu, it loves nuking things. Walking Wake also loves nuking things. Both these teams love the sun. Ninetales much better than Torkoal, as we've seen. That's why this team is higher. And plus, Caleb, you almost beat Boston. That's pretty cool. And you beat your sun opponent. That's pretty awesome, too. There are things to be proud about. Chi-Yu's 4th in the kill leaderboard. You got Donphan now. Ursaluna, sucks to be gone. But Don, he likes this Sarina. He brings it to every game. There's gotta be something he wants with this SAR. It's come off. Hasn't done much. Granted, it's 1-4, right?
I would say
maybe it's defensive. So maybe do drop this. Go get that victory bell or whatever. Vileplume if you so choose, and get rid of Charger Bug. I don't know. Put some points elsewhere. Who cares about setting webs? You did it against Pittsburgh. You beat Pittsburgh with that. So I mean. If you didn't have the webs up versus Pittsburgh, I really thought you would have lost. I'm gonna keep it transparent here, but Boulder is doing things too. Wait, is this the Mon that we call a fraud sometimes, or is this like the Crown one? Is Boulder a fraud? Okay.
Ben thinks Boulder is a fraud in any form, like Terra or non-Terra, but most people think with Terra, it's all right.
All right, so yeah, so Iron Boulder.
This isn't Terra, and it's still putting in work.
It's putting in some good work. Slitherwing, though, maybe see some more from Slitherwing, but this is a great team. Cliff Fable's here, so you can't get set up on. Skarmory's reliable. Donphan, the rocks. Skarmory, the spikes. There's a lot you can do here, and you got a humble little regen mon there too that you haven't brought yet. Granted, you're a Sun team. Why have Slowbro? I don't know, Future Sight, Slack Off, T-Wave Spam, I don't know. Do whatever you want. This team, if you can make Sun work, I would love for it to happen because no one else has been able to make it work ever. So until this team makes playoffs, I'll hold my breath. On to number 8.
With that, we move on to our number 8 team, the Birmingham Buizels. Now, in case you haven't noticed, I've kind of been talking this team up a bit, but it's right here in the bottom half of the power rankings. That might not make a lot of sense to you guys, but I think it's all because the reason I'm talking it up now is because there's a new team. I think on paper the team is probably a little bit worse, like just a little bit, but Birmingham seems way more comfortable with it, and I am a firm believer that being comfortable with the team is a lot more important than the actual composition of the team. And so now I think it's really nice that Birmingham kind of removed the problem of having 2 Terra Hogs on with Mew and Saraledge, and now it's just Mew, and Iron Treads is like a backup Terra if that's ever needed.
Yeah.
The true Gambler's Mon Sneasler is now on the team. Ogerpon Wellspring, drop that guy. I hate that guy. I don't ever want to see that guy ever. Florges is on the team. I think Florges is on his type. It's just a BST thing. Like that guy's like over 550 BST for no reason. Hiram is still on the team. Rotom Heat, I think, like many other people that in the PBO think is kind of crap. It's a guy that you put on the team to make the type chart look nice, but then you actually use it and it's just kind of terrible. It could just be like a screen spot for stuff like Dragon Dance. Hiram, I think it's probably going to be deep in that capacity. I'm a big Mandibuzz enjoyer. I think Milotic is okay. I think it's a good secondary water to have with on. I think non-Terra Knackle stack. But, like, it's just the last guy, who cares? But, to get with the real meat and potatoes of what this has been doing since the team change, he beat Toronto, the only loss that Toronto has had all season, and he beat Geo. Basically, they weren't close wins either. It was a 3-0 and a 4-0. These are comfortable wins that Birmingham has had with a team that he's comfortable with. And I think that's a really difference. And I think it's New York Nickits, Clonbrook, and Pittsburgh for the first 3 for the next 3 weeks. All of which are like comfortably under him in the power rank. Okay, New York Nickits isn't comfortably under, but yeah, I think with the new team, Birmingham really start putting the works on people. Those 3 weeks, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Birmingham win all of these like 3-0 or more. Maybe that's a little bit like generous, but like I got faith. Like what can I say? And then week 8, Tokyo Teddiursas. That one's gonna be very tough. Honestly, I think he might lose that one, but I'm not sure it'll matter at that point. Like at that point, it'll probably be locked for playoffs. So yeah, I think this team is like, now that there's a new team that he's comfortable with, I think it's going to make a huge difference. What do you think, Soaring?
Yeah, you said it. You said it best. This team is on a roll. It beat Toronto, who is, which you'll find out later, higher up in the power rankings, and it beat Scarborough, who is probably a playoff team, to my knowledge and to what I know. The Birmingham Buizels have done it. They lost 2, and they said, "Okay, I'm new to the PBO. I tried some new stuff, didn't work out. I gotta show what I'm about and get the good mons. Maybe what I'm comfortable with." Again, Birmingham, we don't know. Leave a comment. Are these your comfort mons, or are these just mons you saw open and you liked a lot? This team, like, it has 3 mons in the top 10. Mew, Iron Tread, Sneasler. Sneasler was on this team before? No.
No, Sneasler's not on the team before.
No, okay. But still, you have mons that are proven killers. You have Orgerpon now, who's ready to do some work after going 1-3. Knackle stacks here. You have Kierman Sneasler. Oh my god. Florges, what else could you ask for this team? They're on a roll, and they can beat New York, they can beat Clonbrook, they can beat Pittsburgh. This team could easily end up going 5-3. Easily. All momentum is with Birmingham right now, and I can't wait to see what they can do for their inaugural season in the PBO.
All right, we're going to move on to our number 7 team, officially the top half of the power rankings. And that's going to be the Syracuse Snorlax, who are number 7. Now, he hasn't undergone any team changes over any weeks, actually. And basically, he's kind of been neutral compared to where he's been. He lost to Kuma 5-0 week 3, which is a rough loss, I'm not going to lie. He kind of got put in a pack by a Mienshao that just got like a ton of kills. Week 4, he beat the Blasphemous Blacephalons, who was proved that to be a very, very strong opponent, who also lost to Kuma. So like Kuma beating both of these guys means like, I don't know, I'm probably framing this wrong. But anyways, I think it's a really important win in week 4 and a very understandable loss in week 3, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. And so with that being said, I think if we look forward at the rest of his schedule, I think that it's kind of like half easy, half hard, or like quote unquote easy. I think weeks 5 and 6 are like their games that Syracuse has the edge going in. And then week 7 and 8, Philadelphia and Boston, those are ones he's going to have to try a little to get some sort of advantage in. So basically, I think Syracuse is definitely going to be a playoff team, no doubt in my mind. I think the Iron Moth so far has been doing.
Yeah,
I think that was what helped him out in the game against Blasphemous, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I think overall Syracuse is going to be doing very well the rest. What do you think, Soren?
Look, Syracuse, live with me here. You're coming off of a momentous last season. You made playoffs, all the hype around you, one of the top teams, and you fell a bit short. But you're right back. You beat Pittsburgh, and you have 2 losses, and you're still staying strong with this team here. You beat Blasphemous, who is a proven winner, a champion, and is known for his unique sets and his unique team building. You have Moth, Rillaboom, and Terra Iron Hands. What more could you ask for? Now, this team, the knowledge that you have, and with your prep hub with Alabama and Vancouver, I'm not going to comment on, because I'm a bit dumb. But I trust you with this team. I know you as a player. And I easily think you can go 5-3, and if at worst 4-4, but you will squeeze in playoffs. You lost to Kuma because of the Jirachi, okay? It happens. Jirachi went crazy that week. And then you beat Blasphemous. And then Scarborough Mew World Order Philly. You never know. And Boston, it'll be a tough game. That might be a playoff game if you're already booked. You might hide your sets or whatever. We'll find out. But until then, Syracuse, stay confident, and we'll see it. On to number 6.
All right, our number 6 team is going to be the newcomer that has made a statement, the Philadelphia PZs. Now, some of you might be asking why I would put this 2-2 team so much higher above some of the other 2-2 teams. And the reason for that is he's not really 2-2. Those 2 losses are not his. They're from the coach he took. So technically speaking, this guy's 2-0. Mm-hmm. One of those wins came against the strongest team composition in the division. And the other one was just a very dominant win against a middle-of-the-road team on the boards. And so basically, he's just been like dominating with the scraps of the teams. And he left him like he kept the parts that he liked, like Valiant, Terra Mets, Hisuian Samurai, Tentacruel. And then he's replaced parts he didn't like with Terra Garg, Miss Magius, I think Altaria was Klefki.
Yeah.
Orgerpon Hearth, I think going from Orgerpon Wellspring to Orgerpon Hearthling, a pretty like clear downgrade. But if it's to make room for all these other guys on the probably. I think dropping the Don fan for the Tentacruel, in favor of the Tentacruel rather, was probably not the right idea. And I think non-Terra Miss Maggie is just okay. But like otherwise the team is really, really strong. If we look forward at the rest of the schedule, it goes against Clonbrook, the boards, then me and Syracuse, who I think are going to be fairly difficult opponents, and then Scarborough Sceptiles, who I think is another coin toss. Like that one's just gonna be with Geo. It's really hard to so. I I don't know the word. Eccentric, I guess. Um, but yeah, the last few weeks, I just really want to hammer home the importance of beating Boston Banettes. Like that was a really important turning point, I think. Like for that to be your first game, and then to beat him, like you're showing everyone that you need, right? Basically, the way that game went, by the way, was Raven benched his Glow King, and so Tentacle got to click Toxic on everything, and then Samurott got to like put everything in a pack.
Razor shell everything to death.
Yeah. So basically, I feel like this team, I think this is probably our first clear champion contender, if I had to guess.
Oh.
Like I heard a lot of good things about Jarvis' play when he first joined Sunset, like people that knew him elsewhere. And now that he's actually started to play, I see it. I see the vision. What do you think, Soren?
Yeah, Jarv, there's rumors going around you, man, and it's all good things. And I got a pleasure to play against you, I believe, in the off-season tournament that you did win. So I got a pleasure to meet you and play you there. So I know a bit about you. But this is what I hate. I can say June as June instead of Mew World Order. I can get a bit close with other players. But Jarv, you're the new guy. I don't know you yet. I don't know your play yet. So you are up here at number, was it 6? It's 6, right?
Yeah.
So you're up here at number 6, but who knows? Who knows what could happen? Who knows? Clonbrook sleeper team? I don't know. But you did come in, to be real. You did come in and beat the reigning Neon champ, Boston Banettes. Formerly Boston Banettes and the Boston Banettes. And then you had a convincing win against Mew World Order. And then you have to go against Clonbrook, the 14th ranked team. We'll see how that goes. You know, don't sleep. And then you get Dawn, who is always a very competent and prepped player. Syracuse, as long as you're a great player, Don. Come on now, you're competent.
It was the prepped part. I was referencing the week 5 game I just had.
I know. We'll get there. We'll get there. Syracuse, who I just talked about very highly, he was coming off a good season for him, and Gio, who I have nothing but good things to say about most of the time. Now, you kept the Terraments. I was very happy to see that. You got Terragarg, who is currently wrecking Gazer right now. And if it can wreck Gazer, who knows what we can do down here in Sunset. You have Altaria. That's cute. I don't know what that mon does. Miss Mag, pretty good mon. Going AV, Scarf, I don't know. Tentacruel for the spin. Now, look, Klefki, set up screens. Bloodmoon's also wrecking Gazer. And it's not doing behind screens. Defiance Rallying can wreck any division. So, any of these top 5 mons behind screens, 6 mons behind screens, holy. And you have a great supporting cast, so Jarv, just excited to see what you got, and hopefully we can talk more. On to 5.
All right, our number 5 team is our last 2-2 team, and that's the Blasphemous Blacephalons. The previous Neon champion, is that right?
Season...
season 6.
Yeah, season 6, yes. Had to search my head.
He's back, and so far, he's been doing very well. And the reason he's above the other two, or all of the other 2-2 coaches, is because of who he lost to. I think the losses here are like the most understandable losses of any of them so far. The first one was week 1 against Tokyo Teddiursas against Kuma, and basically Blasphemous was beating him, like he was in the driver's seat for the whole game until Terra Greninja showed up and like saved Kuma. And he shook off the loss and came in the next 2 weeks and won 4-4. Like we won 4-0 each week. And that's good. Those are dominating wins. Now the team may not be conventional, but it looks like he's comfortable with it. Also, I just want to say the week 3 game against Cherry Hill Bellsprouts, Banded Aloe went crazy. It was awesome to watch.
Yeah, it was a lot of exciting sets from Stockpile Clodsire.
Yeah, this guy's not afraid to tap into every move, every set possibility that his mons can have, and it's really interesting to watch. It kind of gives me Mug vibes, but like not the same mons that Mug use, which is kind of weird.
That's a good way to put it.
It's weird.
No, I think
it's weird in a good
it.
way, is what I mean. Like we all liked watching Mug, now we have someone else doing those funny builds too, which I think is great. Then in week 4, lost to Syracuse. I forget exactly how the game went. I think Iron Moth was kind of going crazy. Let me check real quick.
Beep boop. Let me show result.
Yeah, it was Moth.
Moth
went
or
way ahead in the
Shifu,
early game, and then hands clutched up. Hands and Rillaboom, I think.
Yeah,
Oh no, it was Bronzong clutching up. That's what it was. Okay, but yeah, basically, just got put in a pack by Terramoth, which like 90% of teams get put in a pack by Terramoth. But as long as you can shake it off and keep it going, if you look at the rest of the schedule, Toronto Staraptors, I think he's ranked higher in the power rankings, but I think he can still definitely beat him. Boston Banettes is going to be a tough one. You got Alaphin check, gotta have your backs check. Both of them look like they'd be Aloe, but I think both can get around Aloe pretty easily. Clonbrook honestly should be a pretty easy win. Pittsburgh, that one you just gotta make sure you're prepped for the. But like overall, I think this team is this is our next champion contender. I think. This is definitely a playoff. I would say this team. I hesitantly say it's locked for playoffs. Like I can't imagine a world that doesn't make playoffs.
Yeah.
What do you think, Soren?
Yeah, so to reiterate what I said starting with Caleb for this 2-2 teams, all these 2-2 teams, this is the Sunset Thunderdome. Thank you, Syracuse, for the words. It's trademarked now. This is the Sunset Thunderdome. You never know what you're going to get week in, week out. Blasphemous was on a roll 2 weeks and loses to Syracuse 4-0. Like, what's happening, what will happen any given week, any given day in the Sunset Division, you'll never know what's going to happen. You might get hit by a Bandit Aloe, or maybe, with any division, Terragren that with Battle Bond will just kill you. You never know. But my Croatian King, Blasphemous Blacephalons, leave a comment, by the way, if that's your nickname. My Croatian King, I love watching him play, love watching the sets, what he brings. It's just so fun. I love to see him back. He's using Bramblegast, I say in disdain. Why? You've yet to bring the Rotom Frost, which is last season's underrated Sunset Mon. Not that you would know, but it was. Shouts out Nico. Indeedee is also yet to come, so I'm expecting to see that in the second half of the season. I expect all these mons to come. So, Blaziken, like Claw, Thundurus, like, even though I know the conventional uses of these mons, I'm just excited to see what he could bring and what sets he does kick up against teams like Boston and Pittsburgh. Against the Sun team, what will he use against the Sun to his advantage? For Raven, what crazy thing? I don't know. It's just exciting to see. And every mon's getting a piece of love in the kills. No mon stands out. Every mon's getting a piece. Like Aloe has 3, tied the kill leader. That's crazy. So Blasphemous, keep it up. And excited to see you in the playoffs, TBH. I don't know how he doesn't make it. No.
All right, we're going to move on to our number 4 team, our first 3-1 team, the Toronto Staraptors. Now, this team, I've been saying, this is the last of our weather teams. I lied. I forgot we have a sand team. I apologize.
Yeah, I kind of.
To be fair, he didn't originally have Tyranitar. He picked it up later.
Yeah.
But if we look at the Pokemon stats for this team, it all just points to one thing. The Hydrapple is doing most of the work on this team. And it makes me wonder, is it a crutch or is it like just a positioning thing? Like you break early with T-Tar Exca and you clean with the Hydrapple. I worry that it might be kind of a crutch because like if we look at the schedule so far, Toronto went against, it says Philadelphia PZs, but that was Sydney Sylveons.
Yes.
Won against Pittsburgh, lost to Birmingham, and won against Clonbrook. Now most of those are like pretty like low-ranked opponents. Birmingham Buizels is like a mid-ranked opponent, and he kind of got comfortably beaten. And so I worry about his potential performance against some of these. Blasphemous, I think Blasphemous play is going to like really force Toronto to not lean on the Hydrapple. I think basically if Deoxys a nasty plot against this. Just end. Unless you have like Banded E-Speed Arcanine or something. Like Banded Terra normal E-Speed Arcanine. Cherry Hill is I think he's really gonna enjoy this matchup with full grounds into like the Terra Hydrapple. Both the grounds can get around it is what I'm trying to get at. And the first 3 guys are weak to it. Talonflame can get destroyed by them. Azelf can get destroyed by, like, basically it's gonna be rough for that matchup. Kuma, I think, is just gonna like kind of player diff, not to like say Toronto bad, but Kuma's just a really good player, and I think when you have a team archetype such as Sand, your skill can only carry you. It's not. It definitely has that. So I think it's going to be rough in Akuma. And New York Nickits, I think that one he probably has a pretty massive edge on. It's the Sand matchup, and he gets up the Sand, and if Excadrill hits the field at all, it's claiming things. Like Skarmory is probably going to be together in that matchup. Like I don't know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one for. I think it's still he can definitely make playoffs. Like don't get me wrong, he's 3-1. He's in a very good position. I just worry that some of the matchups for the rest of are kind of subpar. If that makes any sense. I think his last one. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, the week 8 Weather War, Sun into Hisuian Arcanine. You know, I don't know Mons well, but you know, Terra, Fire, Flare Blitz, Arcanine sounds pretty good in the Sun to me.
I don't know Mons that well, but I think Terrafire, Banded, Rocket, Flare Blitz is kind of strong.
Yeah, I'm not a rocket scientist or anything, but that sounds strong in my head. Now, even though is the Hydrapple a crutch? I don't know. But until then, I'm high on Hydrapple, baby. It's leading Sunset.
Oh, absolutely.
It's having fun. And if this thing dies, and T-Tar's still alive, you got an Extra on the back, you have a good supporting cast. You can set up Toxic Spikes by suing Quillfish, Screamtail, talk to Sunnyside, Suicunes, talk to Mug and the DMs about what sets you can run with that into a matchup, maybe. Manaphy, also talk to Mug again. This team has a great supporting cast with T-Tar, and I never thought I'd see Sand work, kinda, I guess. I don't know. What? I mean, it's just now gotten on the team 2 weeks ago, so I don't know what this team, but Toronto, you are from Season 2, a faithful, and I'm excited, and I love to see you winning. And if the Hydrapple's not getting kills, I'm assured another Mon will get some kills. So excited to see what you can do. Again, what Don said about Blasphemous. Sometimes you're just losing the builder to a guy like Blasphemous, okay? You get Banded Alloed, you get Stockpiled, Clawed. I don't know. Kuma, he plays a lot of draft. Player diff, maybe. Toronto, I don't know. We'll find out. Cherry Hill, New York. I'd say 50-50s, TBH. We will find out on the days they play which team is better. So, until that happens, carry this 3-1 high and mighty. In Toronto, I think you're playoff bound. I think. Maybe. Don't lose big. On to 5, 4.
All right, on to our number 3.
3.
The Tokyo Teddiursas. Now, Kuma has been like winning a lot of games, right? His first 2 weeks he won pretty comfortably. Okay, the first one wasn't comfortable, but Terra Greninja still did it, right? The Jirachi set, the Jirachi that I think I told him to run, won him the game. It didn't copy what we thought it would copy, but it copied enough. It copied a Rapid Spin, and then it's just set up Cosmic Powers, and it won the game. He lost against me for I think a couple of reasons. One, I don't wanna like just gloss over this at all. He kind of got haxed a little bit. He missed 3 consecutive Hurricanes next night against my Paralyzed Cycle. Now I was AV and we ran the calcs. I think there were chances I wasn't even too paralyzed on one of them. So it kind of balances out, and it was also kind of just an indication that he wasn't prepping hard enough for Cyclizar anyways. He also made some misplays, like letting his Terapagos go down too early when he had a heal Jirachi in the back. I think letting his Ting Lu get super chipped to exchange against the obviously Crocodile was kind of a mistake, because Ting Lu was stopping Gouging Fire from spot. And then the biggest mistake that he made was not checking his team hard enough and bringing the wrong ability on Sinistra. He intended to use Heat Proof to help check the Gouging Fire when he... Now, obviously, that's a decent enough. He was not, in fact, Heat Proof Sinistra. He was Hospitality, which does nothing in singles, so he had no ability. And therefore, my Gouging Fire got to +1 and one-shotted it. And then it killed the Greninja, and then it got a little bit died between Para and Confusion Hacks, Jirachi. But then at that point, Cornerstone cleaned it up anyways. So I think it was, if he had just done a couple of things differently, he would have won the game. Now, if we look at the rest of his games, Boston Banettes is going to be, I think, his... Yeah. I don't think he's played it yet.
This is a 7-1 team. There's no doubt in my mind. This is a 7-1 team.
Pittsburgh Scizors, I think he can probably beat that. Honestly, it's gonna be tough. Because Terra Urshifu really demolishes the whole team outside of Sinistra. And if Sinistra's Terraing, it makes it rougher. Not that it has to Terra, but still. Toronto, I think he can definitely. I think his team is well equipped to deal with Tyranitar Excadrill, because there's a whole team there. Birmingham Buizels is going to be a very interesting one because, again, I'm very high on the team player, and I'm going to be very interested to see how that goes against Kuma. I think Kuma probably has a slight edge, but I still think it's definitely losable. So overall, I think Kuma's our next champion contender. This guy, he's definitely going to make playoffs. Zero doubt in my mind. And I guess we just have to see if his nerves get him in playoffs. What do you think, Soaring?
Oh, Kuma. Our humble Kuma Bear, the dock guy. Known as many things. Dock guy, a farmer. Who knows what it'll be this week?
The humble
farmer. But Kuma keeps on rolling. Hasn't changed up. The team loves this team. Terapagos. Everyone has their mon they love. Everyone's got a mascot. Kuma's is a Teddiursa, but his real mascot mon is this Greninja. It's just trained differently. It gets the high rolls, gets the crits, gets the flinches. It does everything. A Terragren with Battle Bond on a Tokyo Teddiursas team will simply win you games. And unfortunately, non-heat proof Sinistra will not win you games. Now, maybe it should have. We'll find out in playoffs when that rematch happens. You have Ting-Lu, Jirachi for the meme of the Ironhead para flinching. Whatever you gotta do. Dragonite, happy to see that back in Kuma's team. Moltres, who I think is fraudulent. Smile, I maybe talking on my ass there on that one. Hasn't come to a game yet. I don't know.
That guy is not a fraud at all.
All right, well.
I've ever seen.
Raichu, fraudulent, hasn't come to a game. That's on lie. Ball don't lie. Now, Mienshao was the one we thought that was going to sweep Syracuse on week 3, but it did not. It set up a sub. I could have ice spinnered, set up the whole team. It did not. Jirachi did. So that was exciting. And Muck, all reliable, right? And when you look at Kuma's team, he had 1 and 2. Now he is 2 and 3. And you can't complain with that. Dragonite still not doing things on Kuma's team. Every time Kuma gets a Dragonite, it's nice to see it on his team, but it doesn't do anything. We saw this with this Chien-Pao team in Season 5. Chien-Pao got all the kills. Maybe it's a distraction, I don't know. So Kuma, and because I know Kuma better than some other players here, and just how I know some players play, this is easily a 7-1 team, but those last 4, I think 2 out of those 4 he wins, and 2 out of those 4 could be a trap game. He could lose to Pittsburgh, Toronto, Birmingham. He could lose to Boston and Toronto, lose to Pittsburgh and Birmingham. You never know. So Kuma, If everything goes well, you're 7-1, probably the 1 seed. Get to choose who you play in playoffs, and will we finally see a trophy next to this player? But until then, number 1 team's going for back-to-back.
All right, we'll move on to our number 2 team, which is me. And the reason I'm here instead of Kuma is just because I beat Kuma. Now, we talked about the one loss I had in week 3 a little bit before, and it really just, every time I talk about it, it makes me sad. Because I had an Assault Vest Crocodile, and the calc I ran said that Booster Special Attack Draco Meteor did not, like, it did maximum enough to leave me on 1 HP. And so I'm like, okay, great. I can click Scale Shot here as a mid-ground, because even if he Dracos and max rolls, I'm okay. I can click it as a mid-ground and see if I can set up a winning position from there. And I click the Scale Shot, things do whatever, and then I get crit. And I'm like, shit, that's really bad. Crocodile was really good here. And then I go into my Cornerstone thinking, okay, well now he's -2. Now I can click Trailblaze, live any 2 hits, and win the game. And then I get crit again, and Orgerpon dies. And now 2 of my best win cons are dead. And even then, even with all that terrible luck, I still almost won. Still could have won if I had run a calc. But like at the same time, I expected the Heat Crash to kill an Amorous. I was wrong, the guy was fatter than I thought. And then it killed me in 2 hits. But so I could have still won the game. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, I just got completely screwed. I could have played the game better. I made semi-risky plays. Like, there were plays where the only risk was the crit. But I don't know. I think I played fine. I just didn't play as safe as I could have. Now, I do want to be clear. I may be sitting at number 2 now. But I have played my week 5 game, and I lost it because I forgot to bring speed boost on my new Espathra.
New shiny Espathra.
Yeah, my shiny new brand new 2023 Espathra. And yeah, so let's put it like this: I will not be staying at number 2 come these next power rankings. It's not possible anymore. I don't think. But honestly, it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same scenarios as what happened with Kuma. He forgot an ability on his Sinistra that cost him the game. I forgot an ability on my Espathra that won me the game. Or that lost me the game. And yeah, it happens. Like, these things happen. It happens when you build too quickly, when you don't respect things enough. And it happens. But if we look forward ahead at my schedule, it's honestly like week 5 already happened. But these last 3 weeks are kind of Philadelphia PZs. I think it's gonna be tough, but it's winnable.
It's a tough stretch.
Boston Banettes. I'm sure you guys have noticed that's the only team we haven't talked about yet. And then week 8, Clonbrook Kyogres. I think that one probably going a fairly easy victory. Sorry, Clonbrook. I think. But yeah, overall, I think I don't think I'm. I don't think it can happen at this point. But, oh yeah, I mentioned the new Espathra. I have actual Hazard now in power rankings. So yeah, no more Noivern. I have Cyclizar. It's doing things, I guess. But yeah, I think overall I'm doing like okay now. That loss against Cherry Hill was really big because it should have been a fairly easy Espathra to have play, and I'd set it up, and then I just didn't have the ability. So yeah, that's on me. What do you think, Soren?
Now, look, I could say a lot of nice things about Don. I really could go on in the next 5 minutes, but what I will talk about is the strength of schedule. Look, that's a hard schedule. You don't look at it the other way. That's a tough schedule. You don't know anything about Birmingham, and then you beat him. You know Syracuse is tough. You beat him. You know Geo's a coin flip any given day, and you lose by 1, and a couple crits. You move past it. But then you beat Kuma. You've probably beaten, and then only lost by differential to 1. Like, probably 4 playoff players right there. That's a tough first 4 games, especially when the information game you don't know much about the first game. Now, Cherry Hill, yes, you did lose 2. We were informed about this way back when, at the very beginning. And then you got the Philly PZs, which rumors may be true about him being really good. And then Raven, the reigning Neon champion, coming to sunset and hoping to win it all again. And then Clonbrook. So this is a tough schedule. So for you being 3-1 plus 7, Don, I think I give you a 5-3 ceiling at the beginning of the season. Do you remember what I gave you? 6-2, 5-3.
No idea.
Okay, well, it was probably 5-3 with a ceiling of with a floor of 4-4, which I think could easily be the case. I think you could go 5-3, and I think you could go 4-4. But with this team, and maybe without the Espathra Speed Boost miss up, you could be 4-1. You have a lot of great pieces. You look comfortable when I watch you. You have come to the darkness that is the Orgerpon. I love to see it, and it's done work for you at, top 10 kill leaders. Pecharunt's awesome. You got a couple fan favorites of Metagross and Pecharunt. It's a great team. You look comfortable. You look prepped for matches. You do.
With one exception.
Happens to everyone. I also forget Region 2 on my Glow King way back when. You just look comfortable, and if there was a season for a championship, it might be this one. It really could be this one for you. So I'm excited to see what you can do against these next 3 teams, because it doesn't get any easier from here on out. Because a lot of these players you faced already are playoff caliber teams. So we'll see how it goes from there. Just comfortable. It's really good. That's all.
All right, we're going to move on to our number 1 team. I don't think this has moved one bit since power rankings.
Nope.
It's the Boston Banettes.
Even after losing.
Yeah, the team is crazy. Now, I do want to be very clear here. I am petty enough to where if Raven had lost due to playing badly against Jarvisimo, then I would have been petty enough to put... But I have to be honest here, Raven also the hacks. He missed an icicle crash and doing so that miss, I'm not gonna act like he just got absolutely sauced by George. In the early game he definitely did. Everything was getting toxic, left on the bench and Tinkaton on the bench. And I don't even think what was Annihilate on the bench too? I feel like he just benched a lot.
Ape had to have been there. No, Ape was there against Jarv. Ape was there.
Okay. I know the backs, the Palafin, and the Cryo were there. Torn was there. So I guess it had to be Shocks. Or Incineroar, I don't remember. But anyways, I remember the Bloodmoon was kind of nuking the Cryo to 50. It's fine because Cryo can just whatever anyway. But if it had started Calm Mind, no, it was fine. Palafin, he just let that get toxic. I think that was bad play. I think Dragon Dancing with Excalibur again in front of the bad play. I think he was making mistakes, but he still at the end of the day he got hacked. That was how he lost because Showdown decided not today. But if we look at the rest of his schedule, I know he said my schedule was pretty tough, the rest of it. This man's got a stretch.
Yeah, it's
all right.
Tough.
He's got the number 3 in the power rankings versus the highest ranked 2 and 2 team in the power rankings. The second ranked team in the power rankings versus Syracuse, who may not be doing as crazy good this season, but we know he's a great player. He was last season. He was my favorite for champion.
Everyone's, I think.
So, I think Nico was a lot of people's favorites, and he ended up taking it. So. But regardless, I think this is probably the toughest second half of the schedule, the division.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it couldn't have gone to a better team. Thank you, Kuma, Doc God, for making the schedule happen. Maybe just maybe we can see this team not make playoffs. So I don't know again. What do you think, Soaring?
Oh man, Raven, Boston Banettes will forever remember you as, but the Boston Banettes is who I have to talk about here. So this is the only team that the number 1 curse doesn't really seem to affect. Even though you did lose to Jarv, information diff. You never played against Jarv. cope for me knowing you Raven against Jar. Jar, if you're watching this, sorry, man. It was a great win. Like, it was impressive. But to talk about Raven right now, look at the Pokemon stats for me really quick. Look, the top 5 are getting it done. The bottom 6 don't have to get the kills because the top 5 is that good. He drafted this team how it is. Bax 1, Gloking 2, Palafin 3, Annihilate 4, Torn 5. What happened? And even though you're so much to prep for, because there's a Terrace and Chino back there, and that thing's scary. It has skill link, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would need technician because
yeah,
you just run dice.
Yeah, loaded dice, technician, skill link, whatever you want to run this thing. It's Terra. I don't care, run it. Rapid Spin Cryogonal with the freeze dry, Scarf on it, specs it, who cares? Incineroar, who is yet to come to a game, surprisingly, is still a great Mon. Like, intimidate, you can intimidate out on that, parting shot, do whatever you want. Tinkaton, the perfect counter, Chicago, shouts out to you. This thing on-court Tinkaton is a pain. It spreads T-waves, it just Tinkaton hammers you, it just sits here as a fairy type. I don't know what Sandy Shocks does. I guess it's a ground type. That's cool. Stop the volt switching. Team's pretty, not even water weak. I don't know what Sandy Shocks does, I'm not gonna lie. But you have double regen. You can pivot out whenever you want, make any team play on your terms, at your pace, and for this second half of the schedule, good luck. These are all playoff contention teams. As I said with Dawn, you look comfortable with this team, and whenever you turn it on, we know when, like, it gets turned on. That's all I know how to put it. When Raven activates, he activates. You say the word, and he plays nearly perfect. And that's it for Sunset PRs.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank
Any
you
closing?
guys for sticking with us. I don't think there are really any teams that are out of playoffs at this point, except for, unfortunately, I think Clonbrook. I think even if he somehow wins all of his games at this point, I think his losses are large enough to where even if he wins them, it won't be enough to get in the playoff. It will keep demotion. Let's be very clear. So that's what he's playing for right now, is to avoid demotion. But I think every other team still has, like, very real playoff dreams right now. Some stronger than others, and others are going to have to fight a little bit harder to make it happen. But I think all these teams are, like, they're still in it.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, we'll see how it turns out. Thanks everyone for watching.
One thing before we go, if y'all click on the video already, it's fine. I don't, as the commissioner here talking about power rankings, is normally why I kind of stay away from these types of things. I don't want people to, like, see like a sort of favoritism because I'm calling people, like, Raven by Raven or June by June in the Mew World Order. It's just what I'm comfortable with. And I'm just gonna say what I know. I don't know Mons, so I might be talking my ass for some things. But from people who I know, who I've seen play for so long, like people like Toronto, mentioned Season 2, I'm going to talk about them like I know them a bit better than people like Jarv and Clonbrook, who I've yet to talk to a lot and spoken to. But just want y'all to know that I'm excited to see all y'all playing, and just thank y'all for being here. And I just wanted to, should have said at the beginning of the video, but I'll say it now just so it's out there, and that I hope all you are winners, but unfortunately someone has to lose. So with that, hope you enjoyed this version of Sunset Power Rankings. See y'all next week. See ya!